Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us for the pay-per-view that got kind of put in between Fight for the Fallen and All In. But it was one that I'm quite happy to do. I feel like we have an absolutely stacked, a massive women's roster, probably far too bloated if I'm being honest. I think there's literally like 3 major talents in the top companies that aren't here, so everybody else is pretty much on board. So yeah, we maybe need to either trim it down or potentially go to 2 brands. More on that one later. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Basically, we bought a lot of like old championships and we bought a load of like old pay-per-views, like village companies and that. I did get Eve's Wrestle Kingdom, so I've just decided we'll rename it as AEW Wrestle Queendom, and we'll make it night 1 and night 2. So show tonight, show tomorrow, it's all going to be combined into one video, so it's going to be about 36 matches. 36 segments, but there is a lot of matches tonight. One of those for good reason. Obviously, we recruited Kana, aka Asuka from WWE. I wanted to get her at least into her title lineage, so she won the TBS Championship. Yeah, that retirement was like a couple of days ago, so I had to quickly pivot. So what we'll do is we have 6 qualification matches tonight, all all-star matches. The 6 winners will compete in a 6-way to become the TBS champion on night 2. It's also been a weird one to book as well because obviously our women's championship match is set for All In, so it's kind of tiptoeing in around that basically. All In, as we know, will be Megan Bain versus Julia for the AEW Women's Championship. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with it. As I say, finances isn't a problem, so I've just made it Legendary Band, 2 million in the special set, and we'll get normal ticket pricing. And this was just after my collision show. So yeah, sit back, relax. Here's part 1 of AEW Wrestle Queendom, night 1. So we are sold out in the T-Mobile Arena, a full attendance of 20,000. Glad to say it's 10 matches and 8 segments. So I decided to start off with a wee celebration for Kana, just basically celebrating her career. Obviously, it was a short time in AEW, but we'll keep trying our best to get her out of retirement. We also have Kyrie on board. She was already retired, but I was like, we'll just keep again pestering her till she hopefully comes out of retirement as well. I don't want to do it manually because obviously we've got about 90 million women in the roster. So if we get them to come out of retirement, great. If not, it allows me to try and be creative and pivot and maybe recruit them as managers. So I just confirmed basically we're going to have the 6 matches to qualify for the TBS Championship match tomorrow. AJ Mendez, my 40 figure for the Shimmer brand, and the segment was a 79. So we dive straight into matches for the qualification for the TBS Championship match. I decided to go in the opener with Davina Rose and Azumi. And this one was about to have some great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Davina Rose defeats Azumi in 14:27 with the Rose Plant. It's weird with Davina, it's kind of like her highest kind of rating is kind of low 70s, just in terms of her skill set compared to some of our legit world class athletes, and of course her popularity is capped. But these two put on a good performance, pretty good chemistry together, and gives Davina that win anyway. And Azumi with a fantastic 88, despite not really having the popularity, that's still mid 60s. But yeah, pretty solid opener for the show. Next up, we had the Trios Championships on the line. So in this one, Dani Luna has a matchup tomorrow. It's basically going to be one of the playoff matches to get into the last 6 for the Survivor of the Fittest for the women's. She tied her grip with Mina Shirakawa, so those two will do battle then. But she has one part of the Trios Champions alongside Valkyria and Bea Priestley. Their challengers tonight was the Aussie Trio of Steph Delander, basically teaming up with the Blue Nation, Charlie Evans and Jessica Troy. It was in a situation where Evans was developing well, Troy was kind of wanting to get to the main roster from ROH, so it felt like it was a good opportunity to give them some trios action. It was about anyway that had some decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat. And it saw Bea Priestley, Dani Luna and Valkyria defeat Steph Delander in the Blue Nation in 14:05 when Dani Luna pinned Steph Delander with a bridging German suplex. It was our first defence of the Women's Trios Championships. It's not a belt I've handled well, which I'm hoping to do better going forward. You can see in terms of in-ring performance though, Steph Delander with 23, she's very rusty, but it was someone that felt like could take the fall here. This was a 63. Next up, We have Mercedes talking about her main event matchup tonight. She is in that big, massive tag match, but she needs someone for a matchup tomorrow, and she kind of has interrupted in a stare down with Yuka Sakazaki, just basically confirming that'll be her opponent tomorrow night. So that was an 86. It felt like a wee cheap segment that I could get that matchup booked in. Next up in the tournament, well, not even a tournament, just these qualifiers. I will say not a lot of these qualifiers will do good because a few of them are poor chemistry, but I'm not even there. No, the qualifiers are fine. Sorry, it's the survival of fittest matches. Yeah, a lot of them had poor chemistry, so I was like storytelling there. But this one was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. And Shuri defeats Tam Nakano in 15-16 with a KG flash. So these two have pretty good chemistry as well to give us an 82. But frustrating, I actually wanted Tam to go over. Shuri wasn't happy, and I was like, alright then, you can win. So that'll be her joining Davina Rose in that 6-way. Next qualifier was a Wild Brawl, and it was about had some good heat and decent wrestling, and we had Delta pick up the win over Chris Statlander in 13-56 with the F6. Solid stuff here. It's weird with Stat because I think she is a good brawler, but in the database she is reflected with high 60 stats, so it's not the best. But that's fair enough. I just look at her size and think she's a brawler. This one's got, and I think this one could have been absolutely fantastic, but I think there's a few flaws here that have cost it. So another qualifier was about that had superb wrestling and good heat, and I had Venny defeat the Starlight Kid in 20-53 with a springboard crossbody. The wrestling was a 93, the crowd rating was a 77, the segment was an 82. Venny 91, Starlight Kid 95. They have pretty good chemistry together, so we can run it back, but they were hampered with the psychology penalty and the limitations from the commentary team, which at this time is Seema and Chris Jericho. So yeah, basically, lead commentator at this point is Moro Ronaldo. His stats are going down. Shima, over in Japan, had 86 for commentary. It was like one of the highest ones I could get. And speaks English in game, so I was like, yeah, he's going to be our new lead commentator. But we'll try him before we take out. I think he is going to be doing the main event, but he's got like 86. Jericho's like in the 90s for colour commentary, so I'm hoping maybe it's a case of they need to do better in terms of a partnership, gain more experience, so they've got to get there. But that could have been spectacular. Next qualifier was about to had some good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. Sari defeats Konami in 13-43 with the wrist clutcher exploder. This was a Steel Show matchup, so they got 15 minutes. Konami's not the most over, although she is ridiculously talented, but it was a good opportunity to give Sari the win. 80 segment, solid performances. We then have a little segment backstage. Obviously, Chris Statlander picked up the loss earlier on, but she is comforted by her friend Willow Nightingale. She says, "Get your act together, Stat. We are going to go for the AEW Tag Team Championships tomorrow. The women's ones, of course. They'll be taking on the Soviet Seductresses, which is Masha Slamovich and Natalia Markov." 83. This one I think suffered from it as well. This was another qualifier. It was about to have some superb wrestling and good heat. Diona Purrazzo defeats Maya Iwatani in 23-45 with the Fujiwara armbar, and 92 for Mayu, 86 for Diona, 89 for the wrestling, 81 segment. Deserves better commentary. I think I'm just going to have to take the hit with the commentary and just hope they merge into a good partnership. But that is what it is. It's that way as well, where Ronaldo's getting worse, Excalibur's got a better colour commentary stat, far better than commentary. Most of them are in the 70s and they aren't quite up to the level like the wrestling that we're performing with. But as I say, we'll hope experience gets it, so it may hamper us here. We then had the segment after it where basically Starlight Kid comes out. She challenges Mayu to an iconic show-stealing main event tomorrow night to show how far women's wrestling has came. So I just wanted to go with like an elite main event tomorrow. So these two are going to do battle. I was hoping we could try and get a 100 match out of two women, but we might need all the commentary team for that to happen. So I'll see how I go with that one. But yeah, a little segment there just to set up that one, Mayu Starlight Kid, and that'll main event because it's a singles match, and a lot of other matches are going to be like tag matches and 6-person, etc. So this one is in the Survival of the Fittest final group match. It was about had some good heat and decent wrestling. I had Takuma Iroha defeat Mariah May in 13:25 with a submission victory, a triangle choke. Made it storytelling because of the situation. So it concludes with the group being won by Toni Storm and Takuma Iroha. So they're going to a playoff matchup tomorrow night. I was always going to lose out here because they don't click well. Mariah doesn't click well with Toni, so I thought, right, we'll give Takuma the victory so she can battle Toni tomorrow. And of course, then Mariah being off her game. It's quite a confusing tournament because it's like the two of them have won the group, so they'll go into a matchup to be the proper winner for the group, and then each group winner then goes into a group of 6. So I need to put them all on the same brand, and then hopefully, I'll just spoil that, and then hopefully we can have an elite tournament to determine the proper survival of the fittest winner for 2028. But I do think I need to change the format because the fact this tournament's probably going to last literally all year. Maybe isn't hearing storyline progression as much as I would like. A little segment. We saw Becky and Tekla team up to attack Jamie Hayter. That's a 67. Again, setting up stuff for tomorrow. I need to move main event people about. I think it's Becky. In fact, let's have a spoiler actually. In fact, I'll wait to the final match. I'm sure pre-booking will let me see the card for. Aye, the card is in, so we can run through that before we hang in the main event. So 67. Still learning stuff about the game. Group. Next up was a final matchup in Group C. Tomoka and Abba defeats Rina Yamashita at 11:59 with a Toma kick. It was just to get this one over the line. Both on the quite where I want in terms of popularity. Starlight Kid wins the group, but 2 good performances and a 75. Yeah, pretty happy with that one. In Group B, good matchup. Tiffy Stratz defeats Io Shirai in 14:04 with the reverse STFO. This was to decide the winner of Group B, so Tiffy Stratz picks up the win. An 80 for Io, a 69 for Tiffy. They don't click, which I was obviously fearing was going to hamper it, but to still pull an 80 out is really good. I know you're like, why the hell would you not have Io Shirai over? Io can win against anybody and will gain pop another good matchup. She doesn't need to be over, and she'll still get high in-ring scores. With Tiffy Stratton, I feel it's a case of it's a real opportunity to build another star. She's obviously got all the kind of the physical and verbal attributes that you want in a superstar. We can work her skills with in good matches, which I think she's only going to have when she's in that proper group with a like Starlight Kid and stuff like that. Io can go and face others. Io's biggest detriment is herself because she keeps offering to put people over, and I can't refuse that. So yeah, Tiffy Stratz will be in our Survival of the Fittest. Little promo from Tiffy, and she says it's time for AEW to realise it's now Tiffy time. I've had her for like 2 years, but she's probably now getting a good push. That's a 77. We then get ready for our main event matchup. So we've got an over-the-top entrance for Mercedes Moné and Julia, which is our heel team. So that was an 88. My cheap way of getting high ratings. We then go over the top for your champion, Megan Bayne, alongside her tag partner, Stephanie Vacure. And we'll do the matchup and we'll cover the card for night 2. Superb matchup, and it saw the team of Julia and Mercedes Moné defeat Megan Bayne and Stephanie Vacure in 27:57 when Julia pinned Megan Bayne with a diving crossbody. So obviously Julia picks the win over the champion, casts a little bit of doubt in what could happen at All In. 83 for the wrestling, 85 crowd, 87 segment. Interestingly enough though, the commentary didn't affect us here. So there you go, and that's us still persisting with Shimmer and Chris Jericho. So I think it maybe it's just bad roles we've had. But yeah, solid main event. I think it's a good showcase of the women's division. And yeah, we'll quickly run through what you'll be seeing in like literally 2 minutes time for night 2. So we're going to have the 21 women casino gauntlet match. And from our roster, you're going to see the likes of Anna Jay, Athena, Avery Taylor, Bea Priestley, Bianca B. Belair, Billy Stark, Selena Black, Jonah Daddio, Hikaru Shida, Indy Hartwell, Jade Cargill, Kalani Jordan, Mayu Yamashita, Natty Neidhart's debut, Persephone, Priscilla Kelly, Riho, Roxy, Sky Blue, and Tomoka and Naba. We have that matchup we described, of course, between Dani Luna and Mina Shirakawa to progress into the Survival of the Fittest main group. We have Io Shirai, Jamie Hayter, and Megan Bayne taking on the team of Julia, Becky Knox, and Tekla. We have Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale taking on the Soviet Seductresses. we have the dream match between Mayu Iwatani and the Starlight Kid. We have the TBS Championship on the line as Sarii battles Veni, Davina Rose, Delta, Deonna Purrazzo, and Shuri. We'll have a matchup between Stephanie Vacure and Mariah May. That big playoff match between Takuma Aroha and Toni Storm. The AEW Joshi Championship will be on the line as Tam Nakano battles champion Natsumi Maki, and we'll have Azumi in there as well. And we will have that big matchup for Mercedes Moné because she's like 90 over. She needs a big matchup, and she'll be battling Yuka Sakazaki. Looking forward to hopefully a good night too. So yeah, we'll see what the final rating is for here. 92, that's fine, definitely helped by the boost. Overall, pretty happy with that one. Don't lose any pop, don't gain any pop, that's fine. But it's time to move on to night 2. So night 2 is upon us. We are still in the T-Mobile Arena. The only real change from show 1 is the show is now considered to be above average important. So hopefully we can look to do this going forward. This was obviously a pre in the database multi-day event, so hopefully when I start doing it for the full company, likes of All In, etc., I don't make a massive mess of it, so that'll remain to be seen. But looking forward to this one. Obviously the matches you see there, 10 segments will be happening, and there'll be quite a few entrance angles, just purely because it's a showcase event, and I feel like with an AEW pay-per-view, you don't really get any interviews, you don't really get any backstage segments. It is just strictly the occasional big entrance, and then match after match after match. So yeah, without further ado, we'll jump in and hope that Seema and Chris Jericho are on the same page. And straight off the bat, we have kinda surpassed expectations, and this probably could have made it indeed. Anyway, sold out 20,000 again at the T-Mobile Arena, and we have that 6-way for the AEW TBS Championship. And about that had great wrestling and good heat. It was Deonna Purrazzo defeating Veni, Davina Rose, Delta, Sarii, and Suri in 24:43 when Deonna Purrazzo submitted Davina Rose with the Fujiwara Armbar. I made this an epic matchup in the eyes of the fans, and these women absolutely delivered. Deonna Purrazzo wins the TBS Championship. So just to give you a rundown here, 84 wrestling, 72 crowd, 94 for the segment. We had a creative finish, which was a success. 85 for Sarii, 92 for Veni, 69 for Davina Rose, 74 for Delta. Deonna brought a 92 and did Suri, but yeah, absolutely delighted with that one. I did not expect that to happen. I was hoping for maybe high 80s, maybe 85, 86, but 94 is spectacular. And of course, we have a celebration for your new TBS champion, Deonna Purrazzo. She obviously has a fantastic technical start, but unfortunately, she is pop capped at 73. And I've tried to get her to put muscle on, etc., etc., to get the star quality up, and yeah, not for happening. But yeah, she's been carrying herself in matches, so I'm more than happy with that. Next up, we had the matchup between Stephanie Vacure and Mariah May. Stephanie winning in 17:31 with the 3.29. 77 wrestling, 75 for the crowd, 82 segment. Yeah, honestly, just solid stuff here and a good win for Stephanie Vacure. We then moved on to the triple threat match for the Joshi Championship, and it was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Azumi picks up the win over Tam Nakano and Natsumi Maki in 14:44 when Azumi pinned Tam with the fast brain buster. This was our Steal the Show matchup, just under 15 minutes. I let them go at it, and Azumi carried this with an 83 performance. Natsumi Maki was really off her game, but overall it's an 80 rated segment. My mindset with this one was basically Azumi obviously technically is very, very good, but maybe just doesn't quite have the popularity I'd like. I think she is still mid-60s, so if we can get her to have a good run with the championship belt, she can only get better and better. Natsumi Maki's pop capped I think at mid-70s, but is more than capable of competing at the top level, and I think Tammy can have anywhere. She's that good. Next up was the AEW Tag Team Championships on the line, and it was a decent matchup, and the Soviet Seductresses defeated Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale in 14:23 when Masha pinned Willow with a diving headbutt. First defence of the titles, Natalia Markov has all the star quality, has the looks, etc. Obviously, still has a long way to go technically. Hopefully, we can work on that one. But a 66 overall, and yeah, another losing battle for Statlander. and Willow Nightingale. Then had an over-the-top Tony the Storm entrance. Well, I said there. But a Tony Storm entrance. She's not really timeless anymore. But a 75 for that one, as she gets ready to see if she will qualify for the final group of the Survival of the Fittest. And in a superb matchup, she lost to Takuma Aroha in 1756 with a triangle choke. 80 for the wrestling, 77 crowd, 81 segment. I feel like in a tournament setting like that, Takuma is someone I'd like to have in there with a lot better technical skills. She can help some of the other ones develop that maybe need it. And Tony, I feel you can kind of use her more character-driven stuff going forward. So I feel having Takuma Aroha in there, likes the Starlight Kid as well, Mercedes Monet, just made a lot more sense. So she qualifies. I can't even remember who the 6 are. I've got it written down in my notepad. I don't have my notepad on me. But joining her in a decent way of brawl, we had Dani Luna defeat Mina Shirakawa in 1406 with a bridging German suplex. 64. I kind of really had to make a match while brawl, and I felt like this was the best one I could do, despite them not really having that as a start. Dani's someone we're really heavily invested in, a proper British star we want to put over, so we're just going to keep giving her win after win after win. She's still in cold momentum despite winning, I think, every one of her group matches, including, well, did she lose one? I think she lost one because that's how the tiebreaker with her and Mina. But she'll progress to that group. She's going to get so much better wrestling, Starlight Kid, Mercedes, etc. Mina will just keep utilising and working the crowd segments because she's got this sex appeal, she's got the star quality in the 90s. So she's someone we can get over very, very quickly, especially with back her with wins. So I do have the feet for her, but I think it'll benefit both parties. Then we had our Casino Gauntlet match. I won't go over the competitors because you've already saw it. It was a decent matchup, and Roxy won it in 22:08, with the final elimination being Tiffy Strats. This was designed to tell a story because I couldn't think of any other matchup that was a storytelling match. It was a 71 overall with the in-ring debut of Natty Neidhart. So we've got her as effectively a player coach as long as until she retires. Speaking of which, Nigel McGuinness has announced he's retiring in 3 months, so that was a sad day. And Jimmy Wang Yang. Anyway, Athena was really off her game, so was Mayu Yamashita. Billy's getting stale. Shida's getting better at her gimmick, but it just shows you how stacked the women's division is, and there's probably still another layer of athletes lower than them in the card. So yeah, I've pinched everybody because I wanted to. I have no other explanation for that one. Roxy celebrates as she gains a TBS Championship match in the future. Honestly, I don't know if this will be at All In or if this will just be in standard television. So if you don't see that matchup, it took place on TV. Because it could be something where we hold it until one of the last Shimmers before the brand split. I don't know what I'm going to call the second, but I just gave away that spoiler, but hey, it's going to be late on the show anyway, 68. I'll cover it when we get to it. Over the top Mercedes Monet entrance, there's an 87, that was capped out by our commentators as she gets ready to face Yuka Sakazaki. And these two deliver. Oh my god, if I'd made this an Inspire pay-per-view, this would have been incredible, but I'm keeping that for All In. Superb matchup, Mercedes Monet defeats Yuka Sakazaki in 21:36 with a bank statement. 92 for these ladies, 83 for the Wrestling 81 crowd, 79 Yuka, 87 Mercedes, and she's got a gimmick that's getting stale. Popularity-wise, she's in the 90s now, so she is obviously going to deliver. There's a lot of women that are technically better, like her skill sets are far better, but she's over, and I've got to keep utilising that as long as we can. So, fantastic stuff. Right, now I can talk about it. So, AJ Mendez is our 40 figure. She confirms that post All In, the women's shows will split into two shows basically, because I've got that many women, just so I can utilise many of the roster. Because I feel like these tournaments, there was a lot getting missed out, and they weren't really developing. If I can keep having them having matches, they're going to get better. They're too over for development. Fuck letting them go to TNA, etc., etc. I'm power hungry. I want to control as many wrestlers as I can here. So yeah, I'm terrible for business. So the plan is, I don't know what the second brand is going to be called. I was thinking something to do with empowerment, but I want to just double check and see what kind of wording I can think of. I've got a wee bit of time because it's a while to All In, so I don't see me getting there until early July in real lifetime, so I think we'll be alright with that one. But the plan is to elevate the Joshi Championship into a second world title, give it a name change, because I've already had a couple of champions, that'll get the prestige of that. I've already previously purchased the Heart of Shimmer Championship a long time ago, so I've never used it. So that and the TBS will be the secondary belts. and we'll just have the tag champions and the trios champions be able to work both brands, so we can focus a bit more on those kind of things. And it means I get to like the survival of the fittest. I can do 2 groups, I can do 4 groups, but 2 in each brand. I don't need to do as mental as I've been trying to get 60 women in each tournament, which has been a bit hectic. But it also shows I'm getting 60 women in these tournaments, and there's still plenty that aren't even getting on TV. That's why I need a brand split. So this is always what makes me laugh. I'm on the Real World Chronicles Discord, and I just love reading all the stuff on Showcase. And like Legolas is probably done in like 3 months, which took me 2.5 years. Around about that anyway, just purely, but is it 2.5 years? It might be 1.5 years, it might be just under that, but still, like, it just shows like I've micromanaged far too much. It's a flaw from me. I wish I had the speed and booking abilities of that man. So, shout out to him. If you're not on the Discord, definitely check out his stuff. It's very, very good. I am a fan. 6 women tag for your co-main event. Good matchup. Io Shirai, Jamie Hayter, and Megan Bayne defeated Julia, Becky Knox, and Tekla in 1855 when Megan pinned Becky. This was overall an 80. This one was kind of like changing it up, testing a little thing as well, like people that maybe aren't quite in the main event level. So in this case, excellent from Megan, excellent from Jamie, excellent from Io. As I say, Io 85, always going to have great performances. Tekla was really off for gaming a 64. She's over, but the skill set's not great, and that 1 year out injured has not helped her. Becky's like fine in overness, but the skill set isn't particularly amazing. And well, Julia's Julia basically. She's fantastic. So Tekla off her game as we know. Io Shirai's getting stale, but again, it was just getting that win for Megan Bayne after losing last night. It was what I feared was going to happen. Oh dear. Very good 10-minute segment here. Julia beats the shit out of the champ Megan Bayne, who has suffered a cracked tailbone. I think that might be 30 days, so she's going to get into the pay-per-view an injury. That's not ideal. 82 segment. Angle idea was a success. The segment deserved better commentary because Megan took a stunt bump. It's just typical. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to try and get the best angle possible, and it's backfired. Fantastic. But we don't end in a negative, we end in a positive. Thanks, Molly Holly. We have the Starlight Kid in action. She is our over-the-top entrance for this potential epic main event matchup against Mayu Iwatani. They are hoping to put on one of the most legendary bouts in women's wrestling history, in the US at least. So Starlight Kid 88, which is ironic because it's 2 Japanese participants. Mayu gets an 83. She's not most over, admittedly, because she lost a lot of time when I was building her up from her before her injury. She was out for a year. Can they deliver? It's also going to be an epic. They can. And I think this could have been even better. So let's see what's cost it. And about that had sensational wrestling and good heat. Mayu Iwatani defeated Starlight Kid in 31-24 with a Dragon Suplex. I made this another epic, so 2 epic matches in the one show. The wrestling was a 96, the crowd was a 77, the segment was an 89, Mayu brought a 94, Starlight brought a 97, the creative finish was a success, and they have great chemistry together, so we'll run it back. So what was the negatives? Both ladies' physical condition, Mayu's inconsistency. Length, so I put it on too long. Okay, fair enough. Maybe if I dropped that to 28 minutes, it would have been fine, but I wanted to really give something. The competition for very low experience, that's fine, that'll take a bit of time. So yeah, I would probably put that more down to these 2. So I think we could, well, yeah, I would say that because the opener was 24, 25 minutes, I think, maybe 26. It's a wee bit shorter. So if I had that under 30 minutes, I think we probably could have saw that into the 90s. But still, it's a good base. You have that first one, and then you've always got, when you find out if you get great chemistry, like, yeah, I got to run it back and try and beat it. End of the show, just the 2 of them giving each other props. I felt it was a good idea. Starlight looks good. 84 for that one, although the angle idea was a failure. So that was a bit of a shame. So yeah, that is the mentally stacked women's division we have here in All Elite Wrestling. And we finished with a 93. So 92 last time, 93. I don't know why it's called M. I think my finger just slipped when I typed it in. But yeah, overall, Great performances, I would say, from the two main eventers. Yuka and Mercedes done fantastic, and I say the opener as well. Absolutely delighted that one with Fiona winning the TBS Championship. With a really stacked women's division. And honestly, because it's been on one show, it's been so fun to book. Like, if this was just a women's only company, it'd be phenomenal. I've generally enjoyed booking it. But I say it's very stacked, and of course, when you've got these wrestlers, they're putting on good matches all the time. Their conditioning's going to get worse, their body's going to get worse. You need to start thinking of the future as well. As I say, this is the only save I play, so I need to start letting the younger wrestlers start progressing up the card. And as I say, that's why like people bring in like Cara was good, but I'd like it longer. She could have been like a player coach. Natalia's coming in for that exact reason to put people over. That's why Becky's up there. Again with Davina Rose as well. It's utilising them, knowing they aren't maybe going to be the main world champion, but they are going to help the skill sets of others. So overall, I think this video is probably about 30 minutes. I'll probably call it there. But yeah, first of a real 2-night show. I think we should do it again next time. I'll see you next time, because I don't know when that'll be. Whenever we get All In the books. Take it easy. See you soon.